video for $5 a month.
No, we're not doing that.
All right. Welcome back to the Broad Street Benchwarmers podcast. My name is Adam Den, Michael Kormelos, and Ethan Leviditis here with me. It's a beautiful day somewhere.
Not so beautiful.
Probably not back in
else.
Delaware. Yeah, we are here in the midst of NFL playoff season. NFL playoff fever is around and ready to talk about some action. How are we feeling today, boys?
Great.
Good, yeah. I know Michael is very excited about what happened yesterday, and it's only going to get better. So
Yeah.
It's gonna be great when Mendoza puts up 700 yards on that defense.
Yeah.
Just stop cheating.
Should we do Carson Beck draft evalualizations? Is that how?
Oh, yeah, he's going to the Steelers from day one.
But they're not drafting a 25-year-old.
No.
Who knows? You can stay in Miami, guys.
What?
Because,
You can stay in Miami.
Yeah.
They might as well just keep Ewers at that point.
Never leave.
Who's younger and better at everything.
Double arm sleeve is killer. That's all I'm saying. With that being said, I think should start. We'll go in order.
You haven't even said what we're doing. You just said there's playoff fever.
Oh, yeah. Well, I assume if you're watching this, you are aware that there are games this weekend, and that they are important. And it is, my favorite weekend of the year, Super Wild Card Weekend. It has been dubbed. It's a dumb name, but it's a perfect name for craziness that's in our league. And I think a good place to start, if we have the time, is just to emphasize that there's no favorite, right, guys?
Yeah.
Not at all.
I was doing an actual bracket, and outside of one fraudulent team, the entire AFC is wide open. And the NFC, a team and a half has actually been there. So you can't even give the playoff experience thing because it's the whole
for parity
in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think the NFC is easier to pick than the AFC, but
We'll see.
it
I
took
agree.
me 2 minutes to fill mine out for the NFC.
Yeah. I think the NFC is easier than the AFC. I agree, but I think both. I don't think there's a team that stands out to me. I was looking at the Vegas odds, and the Seahawks are plus 330 to win the whole thing, and I think that's the lowest favorite it's been in years. So it's everything really is on the table. And
are they actually the favorite to win the Super Bowl?
Yes, they're the favorite to win the Super Bowl.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we'll find out. But with that being said, we can start with the team that I think you're going to try to make the argument for, if I'm correct, to win the Super Bowl. And that is the Los Angeles Rams, who will travel on the road to take on the Carolina Panthers. It's our Saturday 4:30 window, the one we were always, shitting on. And
Can I make a statement real quickly? This is the first time in the history of the Houston Texans franchise that they have a playoff game, wild card weekend, that isn't the Saturday at 4:30. They play Saturday at 4:30 every year.
Yep. It's a new year, new Texans, and instead we are shoved with Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers, who survive a loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in embarrassing fashion, and are gifted a playoff spot by Raheem Morris before he eventually gets fired. So, guys, I think there's a lot of opinions on this game that can be had, even with how one-sided of a matchup it looks on paper. What are we thinking going into Saturday?
Cody.
I'm happy for the Panthers. That's all I can say. Even though, again, it is in a just world, they would not be here, nor would any team in the NFC South. But that's how it works. It's nice to get a home playoff game for the first time in 7 years, maybe more, 8, 10.
Since the Cam year, I think it's the first home playoff.
It's Cam year. But
it's 2015, right? Yeah.
It's a very flawed team, and the Rams are just about the best team in the conference. So even though they're 5 seed, but it's
I think
it's kind of it feels like yeah, it feels like making fun of like a sick baby. It's like what am I gonna do? Like I feel bad. Like I'm happy this gives the city of Charlotte or the Carolinas like some like excitement because they objectively won the division, but the Rams are just so complete on both sides of the ball, and I think they're a serious threat to win the whole thing. Like Adam alluded to a little bit earlier with what Michael's going to say, and I agree. I think Matt Stafford's done it before. I know that's like not really going to matter this year because you don't know. Like we have Sam Darnold's in one seed. Like there's a whole different landscape, but him, Puka, that defense, like I think Rams by like a million, to be honest. Unfortunately,
I'll play devil's advocate. This game was played in the regular season, and the Panthers beat the Rams. The Panthers ran for 164 yards.
Yeah,
it was Rams defense. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's like a definite chance that the Rams win this game. I mean, Carolina throughout the season, say what you want about the 8-9 record, it was a like extremely competitive 8. Like every game, I felt like when I watched the Panthers, except for like 2, was like close. All 8 wins were close. 7 of the 9 losses were like close games. Like they stayed in every game they played in, no matter what. They persevered through everything. They played well in a lot of these games. Bryce Young played really well in the first matchup. Obviously, the offense did really well. They ran for 170 yards. They sacked Stafford a couple times against a really good offensive line. You know, I think this game's gonna be closer than a lot of people think. I think people are gonna underestimate how excited that Carolina crowd is. They're finally getting their home. They're finally playing a home playoff game. I'm not gonna sit here and say the Panthers are gonna win because I don't think they will. But
nope.
No.
I
don't know.
Okay, he's back.
Did anybody else also start swirling?
Yeah.
No, that was you. But yeah, I think that's a great point. I think that was really what I was going to emphasize is that I feel like Carolina has kind of been counted out in this game, and yeah, I'm going to pick the Rams here. I'm prone to pick the Rams here, but there is a matchup that they attacked in that first game that still exists as very attackable, and that is these Rams corners. We saw just a week ago Ahkello Witherspoon get toasted by Michael Wilson. Multiple times they were moving him all across the formation, trying to get him in man coverage against Witherspoon, and he had a great game. And then in that first game, Tet McMillan is matched up with the smaller Emmanuel Forbes, and they win on third down at one of the highest rates of any team this season. And so I think this bigger Carolina Panthers skill position group versus these smaller Rams corners, if they choose to play a lot of man, which I think they could because they did man blitz a lot in that first game, that's going to be really interesting to me as a matchup. I think on the offensive side of the ball, the Rams are going to be able to move the football, and turnovers killed them in that first game. I don't really expect that to happen again, but look, this is a Rams team that went into Atlanta 2 weeks ago, turned the ball over 4 times, and that game was over. So this is a team that is prone to that kind of thing. So I trust the Rams here. I think they're going to win this football game. But, you know, if somebody flashes me a scoreboard on Sunday that says the Carolina Panthers win this game 17-13 or some ridiculous shit, it's not going to surprise me.
I think whatever happens in this game, like, this is just all a moral victory for the Panthers. Because if you told a Panthers fan in Week 4 last year when they benched Bryce Young that they would win the division the next year, I think they probably would have sent you to a mental hospital. Yeah. I mean, Bryce Young looked passable for the first time in his career. They have 2 really good running backs. They've won the division. They'll have a favorable schedule next year.
Yeah,
it looks bright finally. Now, unfortunately, it looks bright for every other team in the division too, except the Bucs. But
it's going to be difficult, right? Because you get a first place schedule now. So I think next year is when we're really going to find out what this team is and what they're made of. And, you know, consequently, I assume Carolina is going to pick up the 5th-year option and make this the last year of Bryce potentially. So I think you're going to get a really good evaluation next year of both of those factors. And, you know, it's certainly going to make it a lot more difficult for them if he's able to win a playoff game. That's for sure. That's I'm not sure Carolina wants the answer to that problem as much as they'd love a playoff win. So we'll find out.
Yeah, but right now they should just be worried about
Yep.
the playoffs.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's what you say usually with a rebuild. Year 3, you're in the play. Year 3 we go to the playoffs. First year head coach, first year. You want year 1 is the growing year. Year 2 you show signs. Year 3 go to the playoffs. They're following the stack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's go spend some money.
Yeah. Well, speaking of teams that are following the stack, we're gonna shift to a team that I think has kind of transcended the stack, if you will, and that is the Chicago Bears, who are going to be our Saturday night game on Amazon Prime, and they will take on the Green Bay Packers. Maybe the best game of the weekend. Classic NFC rivalry between two teams that have not exactly been lighting the world on fire as of late, but continue to be threats in a wide open NFC. What are we thinking in this one, guys?
I have the Bears. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. No. I mean, this is like the hardest game of the weekend because even though it's a 2-7, like this is probably the closest game I can think of in the weekend. Like, as you said, both teams are kind of like middling at this point compared to our expectation. I mean, we expected the Packers to be a lot better. I mean, obviously that's due to Micah Parsons, but they're still very good. And the Bears, I mean, I didn't expect them to win the division at all, but they're still a very well-constructed team, one of the best coached teams in the league. Caleb Williams is here. I think I'll give the benefit to Chicago because it's a home game, and I think that would just be so huge for both, obviously, the team and just the Soldier Field crowd is just going to overwhelm them. And I don't even think it's a Jordan Love thing necessarily. It's just I have a little bit more confidence in the Bears, like cohesive unit in this sort of setting. So yeah, give me Chicago.
I also Chicago. I kind of just think the Packers suck. Honestly, though, like it's not a Jordan Love thing, but like the defense has just been bad, and they don't have Michael Parsons, so it's gonna be even worse. It's gonna be hard for them to generate a pass rush without him. But the Bears line has played a lot better as of late, and Caleb Williams is a wizard. Second half of the season, 30 touchdowns this year, almost the first Bears passer to throw for 4,000 yards.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be the first Bears passer in like a million years to win a playoff game. He probably will be.
Yeah.
As Ethan alluded to, the Soldier Field crowd is going to be absolutely ridiculous. And I just think that Green Bay offense, once again, is going to have trouble just generating points. I mean, I know Jordan Love got hurt in the game they played a couple weeks ago, but the offense was still struggling before he got hurt to get going and really do anything. I don't think much is going to change.
Yeah, I mean, I push back on that in that I think, the way the Chicago Bears win games is the turnover battle, right? And you go back, and I went back and watched the game from 2 weeks ago, and really where that game shifts, it's the Josh Jacobs fumble at the 5-yard line, right? And that's this Chicago Bears team's DNA, which is what makes it really hard to pick this game because there's so much variability involved in the Chicago Bears team. If they're able to win the turnover battle, they win games. If they don't, they simply don't. But I think almost there's a lot less variability in this Green Bay Packer team, and that is why I lean with them in this game. I think defensively, yes, they've certainly had their issues over the past week. I mean, watching the Baltimore Ravens run power on them over and over and over and over again with Derrick Henry was kind of embarrassing to an extent. But going back and watching that game from 2 weeks ago, Micah Parsons is out in that game too, and the Chicago Bears defensive line still has an impact, or the Green Bay Packers defensive line still has an impact in the run game. And, I expect a similar thing to go on Sunday. I think this is going to be a close game. I think there's going to be a lot of long possessions, but I think at the end of the day, I'm going to put my faith in Love and LaFleur in a playoff scenario over the untested quarterback and the first-year head coach. And so that's where I lean. I'm going to take Green Bay here.
Yeah.
You do that.
Yeah, I don't think it's like complete. I don't think it's going to be a huge like discrepancy as far as like time possession or yards. Like I think this is like a razor thin matchup. It's just
absolutely.
You got to get into like the weeds of yeah, both defensive lines aren't great, and also first year head coach. But also it's a home game for a team that hasn't won a playoff game, including at home, in like over a decade, and like there's a lot of variability, as you said. But yeah, I'm excited for Chicago specifically, just because hey, the last time they were at home,
we know how that went.
We know.
We know how that
they had a much inferior quarterback, so that's also why I give them the
much inferior team. I mean, I think you have to either way give credit to what Chicago has done this season. Their ability to kind of move forward, the amount of cap space they have this offseason. Like, they're not completely healthy. It seems like Montez Sweat's been dealing with injury. They haven't had their secondary for most of the year. Like, this is a team that's only going to continue to grow, and that's something special.
Yeah.
So, another team that has created something special in the first year of their head coach, that is the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they will also host a home playoff game for the first time in a little bit. They will host the Sunday 1 o'clock game, taking on the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen at home. This, I think, is the best game of the weekend. I'm incredibly excited for this one. What are you guys thinking here?
I mean, man, I really like the Jags. I really do. That's not me saying that to zag away. It's just to also qualify it by saying I know Josh Allen's been here. I know he's theoretically other than Rodgers, the most like experienced playoff quarterback in the conference. But there's a lot. That's like it's probably the most flawed team under his sort of leadership since he's become the starter in 2018. Like there are so many flaws on both sides of the ball, and I think Jacksonville, especially just because of how they've been surging lately, are just so skilled on both sides of the ball. And I think Trevor Lawrence is like seriously just on a heater right now, and I think especially at home, I'm not going to do that for all these home games, but I think the Jags have just really impressed me. They've obviously extremely exceeded expectations. I didn't expect them to be good at all. And I think just under the coaching of Liam Cohen, they've just been a revelation. And I think they, as much as anybody, can take the AFC. I seriously think that. So give me the Jags.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. They've been an absolute train all season. Like I don't think anyone's stopping them really on their way to the AFC Championship. I think they're the best team in the AFC. And Trevor Lawrence has finally arrived. It only took him like 8 years. ETN's having the best season of his career. They just got random people coming out of the woodworks, catching passes. I thought Parker Washington was like the worst college receiver I've ever watched, and now he's like a competent NFL receiver. So kind of crazy. I mean, the defense has been great. Obviously, they have Josh Allen, Fred Oluku, and all those other guys. It's just they just match up well against the Buffalo team that has so many flaws. And of course, this is like the worst Buffalo team we've seen in forever. And it's the 1 year Mahomes isn't in the playoffs.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you guys. I'm a little mad. The fact that we're getting a Jag sweep here makes me really, really nervous now.
Yeah.
But this is the most balanced team in the AFC by far.
Yeah.
They're top 10 in EPA per play. It made 19 minutes without saying it, Mike. There you go.
No, that's great.
There we go. They have been top 10 in that over the past 6 weeks. The only team in the NFL that's been that way. And I mean, it really comes down to me. Anthony Campanelli and this defense, the way they've completely turned it around has been really special. They don't sack the quarterback a lot, but they have one of the highest pressure rates in football. And as a run defense, have improved so much as well, despite losing a lot of key guys in that building. I do think schematically there is an advantage for Buffalo. They have struggled against heavy formations like 12, 13 personnel a little bit, especially against tight ends. So, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, that's a lot of the guys that Buffalo is going to try to work in the play action, and I do think there's potential for them to be able to take advantage of that and score some points. But at the same time, man, I trust this Jags offense so much against this Bills defense that just cannot stop the run game once it gets to the second level. And you have a guy in Travis Etienne who just can create explosives all day. So I think that's going to be the key there, and give me Jacksonville to ride this thing through.
All right.
Yeah. So here we go. Sunday at 4:30, and I look at Ethan Lamaditis in horror as the Philadelphia Eagles set to take on the San Francisco 49ers. It's, matchup I kind of dread talking about, I think, at times, just because of honestly how both these teams have looked at times over the past couple of weeks. But it's one that should be tight, and it's a budding rivalry in the NFC, so it should be a fun one.
Yeah.
What are our thoughts here?
It's like the Eagles have just given me so much reason to be like first round exit. At the same time, there's this hypothetical switch that they've implied will be flipped. Will that happen on Sunday? I mean, I hope so. And a lot of the talk about San Francisco as well, that they're not going to be able to do anything on offense because we have this great defense, but we have to really just take like 5 steps back and just look at what we've seen on offense. And but then you got to say, well, the Niners have gotten absolutely no pressure on anybody like at all season, and like that should. That's like a big like red herring. It's like we should be like, oh, okay, so we're good. But this is one of those matchups where just you can't really. I think looking harder into it is just doing a disservice. Like what's going to happen? I feel like it'll be a lot closer than the most diehard Eagles homers expect. I think it'll be a close game, but I do think this defense is truly something that like can elevate what has been like a disappointing offense like all the way. So, and I don't really think it's going to be like a Brock Purdy disaster. I think he's going to be like fine, but I think the offense will be good enough, and when you have a passable offense and a elite defense, I think that could translate into a win. So it's not even being a homer. I'm like extremely skeptical about the entire outcome of the game. But give me the Eagles.
Yeah, I agree. I have the Birds. I mean, I think it'll be less of a game that you two think it is. I mean, I think San Francisco's been really good down the stretch, but I think all the things that Nathan alluded to are like true. Like if your sack leader is Clelin Ferrell in 2026, you suck. Like your defense.
You're not on the Clelin Ferrell train?
What?
You're not on the Clelin Ferrell train?
No, he had 4 sacks.
Revival?
No, he didn't revive his career at all. He hasn't been good. I just think this 49ers defense has been so banged up, and I think, you guys obviously rested AJ, Saquon, or like you have all your guys are fresh. Lane Johnson's coming back, so I mean, like, correct, right?
Yep.
Well,
like even like a half healthy Lane Johnson is like completely confident enough to block like the average 49ers like pass rusher. This really just comes down to like is Jalen Carter coming back? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
like
he'll be back.
The 49ers O-line is like a little skeptical. Trent Williams is playing hurt too. You know what I mean? Like you guys if you guys just generate like, a little bit of pressure and get Purdy forced in like these scrambling situations, I think you'll be fine. Plus, they don't have many good receivers. Their leading receivers, McCaffrey. I think that's the X factor for your defense. If the linebackers just get up there and stop him, force Purdy to get the ball downfield. Obviously, not many receivers are going to get open behind Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. So, I think it's good. I think the offense is good enough too. I mean, obviously, we talked about flipping the switch. We flipped the switch multiple times now, like last year, this year. You know what I mean? Like, I think it'll be fine. I think the Eagles win. I think the X factor is also Saquon. This has to be one of those like Saquon 150-yard games, just because that 49ers is so bad. 49ers pass rush is so bad. I think they have decent secondaries.
Yeah, I think we're getting the old school poop factor here. I don't have any faith in either of these units on the Philadelphia offense and the San Francisco defense, as you guys have kind of alluded to. I'm going to challenge you guys. Can you guys name the 49ers' 2 starting linebackers on Sunday?
No.
I think one of them is Tatum, Bethune, from Florida State.
And Eric Kendricks.
And
oh boy,
brother of Eagles legend Michael Kendricks.
Yep.
That's all. Yeah.
Yep. So it's there's a lot of potential, I would say, for Philadelphia, to kind of work the middle of the field, to have those Dallas Goedert progressions in which you try to get him the football in space, and kind of the simple gimmies that this Philadelphia offense has looked to have. But I still don't have much faith in them to be able to get to those because of a guy in Robert Saleh, who I believe is an incredibly smart defensive coordinator and who is going to, play disciplined, stout football with his defense in trying to take those things away. So I think this is going to be a low-scoring one, but I have more faith in the Philadelphia defense, like you guys said, on the other end. What I do have to emphasize, I think, though, is that the Philadelphia Eagles simply cannot handle good rushing quarterbacks when they're able to extend time in the pocket. We look back to the Jackson Dart games. We look back to even what Josh Allen was able to do at times a couple weeks ago. Like Marcus Mariota, when he was in that game. Like, anytime there is a rushing threat, this Vic Fangio defense can at times struggle just because it's not necessarily accounted for as much, and because the linebacker play hasn't been as physical and getting downhill because they've had to put so much in coverage to help with Adoree Jackson. So I think that is going to be a key to this game. Brock Purdy, how does he use his leg? How much is he able to use his legs given the pass protection and given the play of the field position guys? That's why the status of Trent Williams, the status of Ricky Pearsall is going to be so important for this one. They look so one-dimensional on Sunday night just because they weren't able to get to anything. It was just manufactured McCaffrey touches over and over and over. So if they have their playmakers, they have their best blocker, I think this is going to be a lot more competitive of a football game. But so give me the Eagles by a slight margin. But I mean, if those guys were healthy and ready to go, I would probably be taking San Francisco in this game. Going to be real.
All
so,
right.
Yeah. So we can move on to our Sunday night. Chris Collinsworth, Al Michaels, the good old playoff classic. Yeah, it's NBC, isn't it?
It's Mike Tirico.
Oh, not Al Michaels. What am I saying, Mike Tirico?
Al Michaels will be will be dealing with Green Bay and Chicago. Yeah,
good for Al Michaels. He's in a better spot. So the 2 MVP candidates going to war here: Drake May, Justin Herbert, Patriots, Chargers. Why are you looking at me funny? Let me get my Justin Herbert takes off.
Is Ladd McConkey in the running for MVP?
Yeah, of course.
Is Trayvon Henderson going to win MVP? I know Drake May is playing, but
no, it's going to be a real fun one in Foxborough. I mean, that's another one you have to look up. When was the last time they had a home playoff game? I think they played. Was that Buffalo game at home that they played a couple years ago? No, so it's been
was the Titans game where he threw a pick six.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's horrible. So don't necessarily have to feel bad for them specifically, but they are back in the picture with one of the most exciting teams in football, playing against what is most definitely not one of the most exciting teams in football, but one with an exciting, well-coached team that could make this a game. So what are our thoughts here, boys?
To be honest, this is a lot closer than I think. Than I went before I looked at it. I don't even think it's well, guys, did you know that the Patriots are 1-2 against teams over 500? No, that's not really part of the equation for me necessarily. It's just Justin Herbert's got to win one at some point. I'm not picking the Chargers, but I do think the Patriots are a much more well-rounded team in every level on both sides of the ball. I mean, I do think the D line in LA is pretty solid, but that's about where I lose them. But yeah, I don't really know if like it would have to be like a sort of a I don't know if a miracle run, but it would have to be like a really great accumulation of just the greatest performances of Drake May's career to make a Super Bowl. But I definitely think they can win this one, and that's like it'll probably be a little bit closer because I think Herbert is kind of it'll probably be like a I don't know like 31 like 23 sort of final. So yeah, I would say give me the Pats.
I have the Pats too. I don't think this one's gonna be very close though. I don't like the Chargers. They're like the odd man out in the AFC this year.
Yeah,
I think the Steelers are better than them. Like
yeah,
that. I think like not that they won 11 games, but like in terms of playoff teams, they're a bad playoff team. I think they're right there with the Panthers. They have flaws. They can't run the ball. Obviously, Hampton being back helps that, but I still don't think they can run the ball very efficiently against. So I think it's a good Patriots defense.
hmm
I don't think they're. I think the D line's great, so I think they're going to kind of be able to negate Travion Henderson. But I mean, I still think Drake May's just going to carve him up.
yeah.
He's the second. He's the runner up in the MVP conversation for a reason. I just think Justin Herbert's a bad postseason quarterback. Going back to the days
Yeah.
I thought that, and I thought that in the days of the Los Angeles Chargers and wherever else he plays, it follows him everywhere. When it comes to the postseason, if it's not the Shelby High School Fishing Club, I don't think he has much success. Just give me the Patriots. I don't know what else to say about it. You can pull up the numbers too for the Oregon postseason years if you want.
Yeah.
You're
No, I'm
bro.
I'm completely in agreement. I think this Los Angeles Chargers team and their limitations across their offensive line are really killer. But I think what we do have to emphasize is that this New England defense has not looked like the same team over the last couple of weeks. As a run defense, they continue to kind of have their flaws, and so I think if this Chargers team is able to, I mean, in any way, manufacture a run game, whether that's through Herbert's legs, which it has been a lot this season, or through the Hampton Vidal combination. I think this game could be a lot closer than we expect it to be. But I think as a whole, this Chargers defense plays a very specific style of defense. They play like the Baltimore Ravens and Mike McDonald used to, right? Like they love to disguise coverages, disguise blitzes, and all that. There's been no quarterback better at manufacturing plays within the sky zone coverages than Drake May this season. He has looked like a complete veteran in that way. And so I think even against what's been such a great Charger defense, they are going to be able to move the ball effectively and efficiently. And I expect them to win this game pretty handily, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Wow, this is flying by, guys.
Yeah.
I think this might be the quickest NFL playoff pod we've ever done. This is insane.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what they're on. This is insane.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna close, I guess, with Mike's own Houston Texans as he stands there in his Jalen Petrie jersey, ready to go. You're not saving that for Monday?
I'm also wearing it on Monday.
Okay, sounds good. He's gonna do some laundry. It's all right. But the Pittsburgh Steelers heading to H-Town to take on the Houston Texans. I know Mike's thoughts, but let's get all of our thoughts on this
one. God, it's just such a fucking Tyler Loop, man. Like, I think the Ravens would have lost in round one anyway, but it's so sad that the Steelers are even here. Like, they're extreme. They're the most. I mean, you can say the Panthers just because it's a very similar situation. The Panthers they won the division, and I guess that's rewarded with the home playoff game. But you would have to get some yes, we need Aaron Rodgers in the darkness retreat if we can even make it a close game. Like this defense is the best in football, probably. and especially without DK. I mean, even with and
DK's
without.
playing.
Yeah. Well, I think with and without, this offense has just been really mediocre, and the defense has been fine. It's like gotten the job done, but I seriously have a ton of confidence in Texans on both sides of the ball. Actually, I think CJ Stroud can do it, and I'm not even going to do the home environment thing here. I think it could be a factor, but a team the Steelers are just so inferior to the Texans in pretty much every level on both sides of the ball. So I'll take it with the Texans.
I partially agree. The Steelers' offense sucks, except for Aaron Rodgers. Love you, but everything's telling me best defense in football. They should win this game. And I remember we gotta play offense. I gotta watch CJ Stroud try to throw the ball. I gotta watch Woody Marks and Jawar Jordan run. I got an 80-year-old Nick Chubb run the ball. Nick Caley. You think you have it bad with Kevin Pasula, man? You wouldn't last a minute with Nick Caley, dude. We're running damn Dalton Schultz jet sweeps, dude. That was a real thing that happened.
Yeah.
Swear to God. And not like after the first 3 weeks of the season. We were done with the experimenting period. This guy was like, "Sure, you're lost, dude." This offense sucks. This offense is so ungodly bad outside of Nico Collins. CJ Stroud has played 2 road playoff games in his career, and that sucked in both of them. I still think we'll win, but I think this is going to be a lot closer than people think it is.
Yeah.
We struggle with the forward pass and the block. So I think this will end like 10-6.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying there. I see what you're saying there. I think my biggest counter to that simply is how bad the Steelers' defense has been. I don't think we've emphasized that enough. The Steelers had 3 busted coverages on Sunday night that seriously should have cost them in this game, right? You have the Jalen Ramsey one that allows the Zay Flowers huge completion, and then I forget who was in coverage on the other one, but it's another Zay Flowers completion. It was probably Jalen Ramsey on the back end again. It's just, they have not been a good secondary this season. And if there's one thing that I think this Houston Texans offense has shown the ability to do, and you see it in that Chargers game, it's been the ability to take advantage with creating explosives against bad secondaries in the passing game when CJ Stroud has time. So I think
CJ Stroud's not going to have time, dude. Ethan's playing right tackle, dude.
No.
Ethan's playing right tackle, but TJ Watt can't breathe. Yeah. I mean, I think
neither can anybody or O-line.
I can breathe.
One against Ariante Ursa, dude.
Yeah,
he's the worst tackle in the league.
I have
TJ Watt. Stroud's he's going to get sacked 8 times.
Maybe. I think they're going to be able to. I think they're going to be able to create. I think the Steelers secondary is bad enough that they're going to be able to create quick explosives. And maybe it's not over the course of the entire game. If they're able to hit 2 or 3, I don't think this is going to be a close game because, I mean, they could get up 10-0. And I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be able to, if they get a 10-point deficit, I don't think they're going to be able to come back from that in any way. So I think this is probably going to look similar to the Chargers game in that way, and I trust them in this.
No, bro, we got to play offense, dude. It's not going to look like that. We got to throw the ball. We got to run the ball, dude.
I said 20 to 10 in my Substack. I think that's fair. I said 20 to 10.
If we score 20 points, I'm gonna be so ecstatic.
That is 2 bust coverage touchdowns and 2 field goals.
Yeah, exactly.
I
think that's perfect.
If Camille Fairbairn makes a field goal in the cold, I'm gonna be so happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it's not in a dome, it's not going in.
Yeah. Is the dome gonna be open on Monday night?
We're playing in Pittsburgh.
It's in Pittsburgh, man.
Oh, it is in Pittsburgh.
That's why I made the comment about Stroud being the worst quarterback ever in January, not in Houston.
I still have faith.
I know.
Give me the Texans.
Roll
H-Town.
Texans, but
you're gonna text me 10 minutes into the game after the 60-yard Nico Collins touchdown, and it's gonna be, we're going to the Super Bowl. So
yeah. I mean, if we had a half competent offense, we'd be the best team in the league.
I think that's the other thing to emphasize here, and I'll say it because we have time. there aren't a ton of units, across this NFL playoffs that I think you can put your full-hearted faith in. I think it's the Texans defense, the Seahawks defense, the Broncos defense, and the Rams offense. I think those are really the only 4 units which I have like the utmost faith like cannot be stopped. Mm-hmm. And so, those 4 teams I'm probably going to be picking for a little bit because I'm like, maybe you can throw the Philadelphia defense in there. I'm not ready to do that, but yeah. All right.
But if we win this game, we will go to the Super Bowl.
Exactly. Exactly. There he goes. There he goes.
Then you picked him. So.
When it comes to offenses, I'm like as concerned about the Steelers' offense as I am about the Denver offense. So
that's a take.
Well, they beat us by 2, and Davis Mills played the entire game. So
I know.
We'll Stroud's bad, but I think Davis Mills is a different level of bad.
Yeah. We'll talk about them next week. Before we finish up, since we have a lot of extra time, I thought maybe I didn't prepare anybody for this. Is there any coach firing that we feel like we should really hit on? I know there's one that was pretty big that we might want to spend a second to talk about, and that's John Harbaugh. But do we want to talk about that or any of the other firings and how they're going to be impactful?
The Miami Dolphins are the stupidest franchise in the history of franchises. That's all I got.
Okay. I think that's a fair argument to have, right? And that's probably, that's to me, that's the most shocking firing by all means. It seemed like they developed some consistency over the second half of the season just to throw it all away when they have the coaching history of instability that they do. That's a real crazy one to me.
Cleveland should be banging that line right now. They should blow it. Do not like lock Mike McDaniel in a room. Do not let him out until he signs a contract.
Well, he might be in Detroit now, right? That's going to be the...
I would take a head coaching job before I took an OC job.
No, absolutely, yeah. And there's a chance he gets...
I would take the job with, 8 rookies that I can develop on my own, before I, worked for Dan Campbell. Not against Dan Campbell, but, I can be my own boss.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'd take Shedeur, Judkins, Sampson, Bond, Fannin.
You're already doing the agenda.
I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Any Harbaugh thoughts before we head?
He's probably a giant, which is interesting. I do think it's it makes a little bit of sense, to be honest. I just do think
his time there was just done. He's still a great mind, but
I don't think it's as shocking as the media made it out to be. It was 7 years with Lamar Jackson that materialized into AFC championship appearance. And that's not going to cut it, especially when you have a guy who I think Lamar's cap hit next year is in the 70s. This was kind of the year, and it is sort of a disaster. Obviously get fucking Cooper Rush playing games, but I think it's for the better. I don't know who they're going to get, but I do think it was probably the right move, and I'm interested to see where they go.
Yeah. No, I'm in complete agreement. I think it probably was time, and I think the next step, I think, has to be one that's defensive focused, and I think that's been the greater issue over the course of these past couple of years is just not having a great defensive mind in the building, and Zach Orr struggles on that end. They have so much talent on that side of the football. I don't think you necessarily need to hire an offensive coordinator. I think you need to hire a leader of men, the guy who's going to be able to get that room specifically back together. So that's not necessarily a Jesse Minter, boost, but I think there's a lot of guys in this market. I think about Anthony Weaver. I think about, even the other Anthony in Jacksonville, if they're able to put some things together. I think about, Salah. There's a lot of names here on the defensive end that could be really important in this cycle, and I think it's going to be important to watch. So, yeah. Well, I think that's all we've got, right?
Also, the Titans interviewed Jason Garrett. Please, for the love of God, hire him. Please. Make your bad quarterback even worse.
I will cry.
Me too. I will be so happy. Make your mediocre quarterback the worst quarterback in the league. Yep.
Yeah, that he's good.
We can't have another Cam Moore discussion until April. We'll have that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, who are we firing?
Let's how about we just sign? How about we sign Bo Bichette? How about we do that?
Sign Bo Bichette. If we don't sign
Wow,
Bo
we're
Bichette-
being optimistic today. I love that.
No.
I love
Dude,
that.
That's not an optimist. That's like a sign Bo Bichette. That's not a.
That's fair.
They're not giving them $300 million, guys.
They're not.
It's not happening.
We'll
I don't
see.
think anyone's going to get $300 million.
No.
They're going to
Sign
offer
Bo Bichette.
4 years, $25 a bag of chips, and you get to pay for Alabama plane ticket.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
It's all right. We'll be there. That's for sure. Thank you guys for listening. As always, sign Bo Bichette. We're out.